Hello guys, welcome to another weekly analysis here from Duarte Capital Management. Thanks so much for being here. Before we start, just to let you guys know, we are looking for traders to work with us. We are providing capital accounts, okay, funded accounts. So anyone with at least 6 months experience or above or just below, contact us. Let's see what we can do to help you. We are looking to always give opportunity to people so they can prove to themselves how well they are. And if you are very interested and you want to see or have any questions regarding this, please send an email to careers@Duarte Capital. Okay, guys. So let's go. So very interesting end of last week. We saw the dollar pretty much closing at the lows of the week, as you see here. Since this move from this high, just above this high here, and then very quickly reversing. That was a key reversal signal here, and since then the market has been very, very strong to the downside. However, I want to point out something. I think the market now might give a short-term correction here, in my view, and the reason is that we are getting close to this gap fill. Just few points away. Maybe we can do just one little low here on the dollar index, maybe just touching this 97.03 or just below the 97, just to take some people out, and then have maybe a correction, and then that's the idea. Now, I'm not saying this because I want to buy the dollar or anything like that. It's just because of how stretched we are, and most of the time, especially with this chart here, you see this like a lot of times filling a gap and then just have a correction. Okay, but keep in mind, I'm saying corrections. Okay, no, not a reversal word. Okay, just to keep that in mind. So I'm not saying the dollar is gonna go back to the 100. Okay, and but I'm saying that we might have a correction. Okay, and then you might ask me, okay, to where to then? And I think that the key resistance now is going to be this 97.85. As you can see here, many lows on the daily chart here. We have pretty much 3 lows here that hold the market just above the 100 moving average. And until I think we are below this level, I think we are more bearish than bullish, and I think we should look to maybe sell the dollar below that level. However, if we start breaking this level, then the key level is going to be this 97.30, 97.20 level. I see as a zone. I don't see as a specific number or level, but it's a zone that I'm personally very, very interesting. Okay. However, keep in mind that last week I told you guys many times that for this dollar to turn bullish again and to turn less bearish, we needed to go back to this resistance here. And as you can see, we kind of went there, tested, and then quickly reversed. And then we had pretty much 4 days in a row very negative candles. So I think we can put this down. Okay, we can now use this 98.30, which means that if this dollar for some reason, okay, goes back to this zone, I think then you have a good reason to believe that the dollar is going to go up again. But so far, I think we should look for selling opportunities on the dollar, because technically this is how we look. But now we have something more interesting here, which we haven't had last week, and what I'm looking here is this trend line here, right? We have pretty much 3 lows, you can say, or maybe 4 even, of lows, and this market is pretty much there. Okay, if we go maybe to a weekly chart, you can see more in detail what I think. I think maybe this is a rising wedge, right? This is a rising wedge, and knowing that, that gives me more view or more opinion to believe that this has more, maybe can really go low. Or in other words, I don't want to try long for now. I want to see this market proving to me that has a low first, rather than me just trying to pick up a bottom, right? So keep that in mind. So I'll keep an eye on this 97.85 on the dollar index, then 98.30, and if that breaks, of course the next one's going to be around this 98.70 zone, and then after that, guys, you have to target the highs and even higher highs again. So knowing that, that's the dollar index for me. So, and support, guys. Just let me.
We'll go ahead if the speaker agrees, and if no amendments are selected, which would render it meaningless. We complied with the law, and Parliament's request has been conveyed to the EU.
Okay, there we go. So that was the live squawk that we use here on the trading floor that we have here in London. However, going back to what we were saying, the dollar index, it's at this key junction. So look, this 97 zone. If this 97 doesn't hold, then you have to watch this 96.60 area or so, which is the 786. And as you can see here, very big support area, isn't it? Very big support area here in this market. So that's one that you should keep an eye on if we do start breaking the 97. Okay, so that's the dollar index for me going to this Monday session and Tuesday. Let's go now to the euro, and the euro, same thing, right? So we are in a big level here. If you look the daily, we draw this together days ago. A break above this trend line here, maybe a pop could come. And now, guys, I think the most amazing thing here to see is that we are now above this zone, right, which we have discussed so many times, which is the 111 handle. And I think that if the euro, while the euro is above the 111, I think it's more bullish than bearish. But one key level I'm watching is the 618, not just because of the fib, but we also have the 200 moving average just there. And maybe let's try together here, but maybe let's see. So if I add to this high, you probably see, right, we maybe have another trend line there. Is this the best trend line of the day? Not really, because as you can see, it's only two highs, but it's a point of reference which we should all keep an eye and see what happens. So this let's say, so the 112.10 area, and it can even go to 12.30. So this zone here that I'm marking on daily chart, it's key for the euro in my opinion. If we do break that, then of course I'll be aiming around this 14.50, 114 handle. And if that goes, guys, then it's going to be even trickier. I think then the market will probably aim around this 116 area. You see this pretty much has been the medium point of the market, really. So that's my view on the dollar, but the euro dollar. But if the euro continues to move up, I will keep an eye on the zone here, because that for me, it's key going forward this week. Keep in mind that we also have the ECB today, on Thursday. So a big week for the euro, the last meeting of Mario Draghi. Okay, so I don't expect him to announce anything new just because he's going out. He doesn't want to, create things, knowing that the new governor is gonna come in and probably start applying what she thinks is the correct thing to do. So, but you never know what she might come out and start saying, and that's one thing to keep in mind. But the euro here, guys, this zone, if it continues to move up, it's critical, okay, for bears in the long term, I believe. Okay, support, guys, let's go. So 111 we already discussed that. So 111 is key. If we break that 111, guys, then I'll keep an eye on this trend line here, which is just below the 111. I think it's gonna be around the 1060 area if by the time we get there, something like that. So for me here, this zone here is going to be the next support if we break the 111. But guys, this is the last one. I think if we start breaking here, then that's going to be even very interesting. Okay, if that 1060 breaks, if this trend line breaks, in to be more clear, then I'll be watching the 110. right? The 110 is, it's another big level to watch for the euro going ahead. Now let's go to the cable. So crazy market. We finally, got that Saturday vote coming out. Boris didn't win, and that is very, how can I say, but very bad, because we are going to have another delay, which is just gonna increase the time of us on this uncertainty time. We never know exactly what dates, we never know exactly what's gonna happen, what the rules is gonna be, what we're gonna get, how the economy is gonna work, what we need to adapt. So many things to think about, regarding this scenario of UK leaving the EU. But on the other hand, we have to trade what we see, right? And then not what we believe or what we want, because that doesn't really give you any money at all. The market doesn't really lie, doesn't go to the direction that you want, of course. But knowing that and putting that aside, looking the cable here, for me, what I'm seeing here, let me I think on the 1 hour, okay, on the 1 hour chart, it does look, okay, it does look like a rising wedge here, right? Very similar to that dollar index one, which is the dollar index, yeah, but longer term, right? It does look like this. It does look like that. But this market, it's one that is not just driven by technical analysis. It's not, which means that it can stop breaking. But if someone comes out and says something very positive, this can come and start moving up again without any single problem. So that is one thing to note. But it does technically looks like this, and depend on what time it does break. If it does break today or tomorrow, I might try a shot. I might give a go, but it really depends on the time. I want this to be broken on the London session time, and see a really good close, 1 hour close. Confirmation that we have finally a close below, and then try, because the risk reward is going to be here if I do take this shot. So that's why I'm really keen to have a go at this and see how it goes. But for now, very rangy kind of market. Of course, this is what you expect in a rising wedge anyway. But it's a patient game here, really, if you want to play this, because you need to wait for this to break and really close below, because if you don't, it's very likely that you can get another low. And as you can see here, so many lows in the market so far, very many. So what I suggest is probably you try to sell if we touch the top line, or sell when we finally have a close below the trend line, right? That's one of the two options that we have. But be very careful. Don't trade in the middle, only trade on the retest of this top trend line, or in the break of the lower line. But let's say the pound starts to break higher again and goes to the level. The next one I'll be watching, guys, is this 31. Okay, but if we do start, I still have that feeling, okay, that 133, it's possible now. I'm getting that. Technically, if you look at the chart here right now, and I draw this zone here, you will probably understand what I'm trying to show you here. But look, it's a zone that it has been really tough, and the last time we went there, you can see here two retests, and then finally a give up scenario here in the market. So I'm long term, I think we can have this kind of a move to that level, while we are above the 28. Okay, 128 is key, guys, I believe, in this market. I think one below 28, maybe. Okay, maybe the market is probably have a top, maybe. But while we are still above the 128, you have to, maybe target this 133 in my view. But keep that in mind, it's a very, very risky market, okay? Everyone that is trading this professionally that I know, it's using very large stop losses, because you can see intraday, it's very crazy, okay? So just keep that in mind. It's one of the markets I'm watching it. But if it gets to 33, I think it's going to be really nice to trade, just because of the risk reward. It's going to be amazing. But shorter term doesn't really take the option out of this, maybe breaking this rising wedge, does something like this, and then maybe test this 127.50, or even 26.50, and then go back up. But then if we do this, you need to see this 128 go very quickly as well, because just don't forget what we just said a few seconds ago, that this 120 is quick. It's very big. So what I'm saying here is that short term we can do something like this. It can be likely. Okay, it can be likely. So keep that in mind. 128, 127, but then 28 has to go very quickly to confirm that this still has the pressure to the upside. Okay. Dollar Canadian. So this, it's one that it is breaking, but look where we are getting at. Okay, it's huge. Okay, look at this trend line here that we have on the weekly chart. Okay, we have a really big trend line here. As you can see, we are pretty much just retesting. We're just close to that test of that trend line. But keep in mind, still Monday, still enough time for this to do whatever it needs to do. We last week, for many days, we have discussed about this being a range, and as you can see, it's just below the trend, just below the range now. So it's in a breakout scenario right now, but who knows, the next fib extension is around the 30.76, so that is, it's something to keep in mind. We have this probably a channel kind of market here, so 30.76. If we go to the weekly, you can see the 200 moving average on the weekly is at 86. So you can see in this kind of a zone of 15-20 pips or so, it's massive for this market, massive. So it's one to keep in mind, really to keep in mind. So what I'm thinking here, and I think the one that the easiest trade plan to traders is pretty much wait, and wait for this market to get above the 31.50 again and have a close above it. Because if we do have a close above it, it means that we have a false breakout below the range. And if that happens, guys, you can expect a huge move to the upside again, maybe to this 33.50. So, let it does what it needs to do. But if we do, come somewhere here, reverse and close somewhere here, that's when you want to be in the market. Just wait, and then you can wait for this, something like this to happen. Okay, so wait. That's my thing here, because at the moment, if you tell me, okay, let's trade, let's leave orders in the market, I don't really see anything holding this market right now. Might change later in the day, but right now I don't see that. So I prefer to stay on the sidelines, open a trade that I have the conviction, I have confirmation, I have everything else. So it might come soon as expected, really. But for now, I'm just waiting and playing the patient game right now, and waiting for this market to really shows what he wants to do. So I'm keeping an eye on this weekly trend line. It's massive. Okay, this is the chart I think you should watch this week. One of them, okay, to watch this week for the dollar Canadian. Okay, so that's one to keep in mind. Also, don't forget oil. Okay, guys, oil. Just have a quick look here. It does look like a triangle on the 4 hour. Okay, it does look like a triangle. And if you see probably this oil breaking low, a dollar Canadian get to those kind of levels on the trend line and give a quick bounce on the short term, showing signs of a bottom. With oil also breaking to the downside, I think you have a good correlation kind of trade idea here. So you can use a correlation to your benefit and stop, probably enter early maybe. But that's something that you need to know exactly how to do it. If you're willing to trade at. If you don't, if you need help, if you want to learn, don't forget that we offer educational courses here at Duarte Capital. So again, send us an email to the same one to this. It's fine. Just send an email to info@Duarte Capital or to careers. Doesn't really matter. Just send an email saying that you want to learn how our strategies work, and we can give you more information regarding that. But going back to the dollar Canadian, it's one I'm keeping an eye on. I think it can be a really nice trade, maybe to this week. Okay, dollar yen, guys. This one that I'm also very interesting, and I'm quite surprised that it's doing this. But at the same time, last week he also made the pretty much the opposite. He wasn't clean. Now he is pretty much. But one thing to note here, on the short term, is that we went below here overnight, and now quickly we reverse up. We have a kind of inverted hammer here in the bottom, which is a bottom candlestick signal, right? A really positive close, which has to be keep in mind. You have to note this down. I think it's a big signal there, but at the same time, the market did this. Maybe this is a false breakout. Okay, and I think it is. And this can anytime now start bouncing. Okay, but the question is this really the time that it's really gonna bounce? I'm not sure. Sometimes you have to wait for the market to confirm what it wants to do, but for now, it's here. Maybe this is a channel, maybe this is a flag, you can also call that. But while we are still above this 108 and 50, I think we are bullish. I think we are. I don't think there is any signal here yet of a bearish scenario. If you look across the board, S&P, is still holding there. Nothing really new here. You can easily go back to those highs again. It's not far away. If you look, bonds as well is another market with which dollar yen is correlated with, and as you can see, it's pretty much here. And if you look, the daily chart, I believe. I'm not sure why my chart is empty. I did draw a few things here last week. Oh, here we go. Maybe I clicked on the wrong one. But as you can see, huge area, right? That's what we drew last week. A break below the zone, it's key. So we are in this kind of a triangle here as well, right? So be very careful. Wait for it. You don't need to step early in the market. Just wait, for confirmation. So if you see this market closing, below the S2 today, maybe this is finally going. And if this happens, you expect automatically dollar yen to start bouncing and start breaking outside of this channel. Okay, so keep that in mind. Next resistance, next levels I'm watching for this week here on the dollar yen. It's pretty much where the 200 moving average is. So 109.06, 109.06. Just above that, we also have the 618, 109.36. That's another one to keep in mind. But I think the big one here that we should watch, I think it's somewhere here. Don't forget, we still have a gap here, okay, which we haven't filled yet, which is around the 111 handle. Okay, so that's quite, more than 200 pips above where we are now. But keep that in mind, if we look long term on the weekly chart, okay, look where we are targeting on the long term, right? Don't forget, we are still in a triangle with a false breakout here of a triangle and a new low, and if we go to the 11, it's going to be somewhere here. So that's why we are expecting long term for the dollar yen to go. So just reminding yourself, and this dollar yen, guys, it can go quickly. It can really go quickly, and the market's holding here for a reason, because this is a really big wall here. But if it does start breaking above, that's when sellers will just give up, and this market can easily go to 111. Okay, so just let you guys know, this is what I'm thinking on the dollar yen, and I'm keeping an eye on this market too, because I think it's very interesting, very, very interesting. Okay, so keep that in mind. Let's now have a quick look on the dollar Swiss. So dollar Swiss, as you expect, with that bounce on the euro, the dollar falling apart, with stocks remain strong, dollar Swiss needs to be below, and here we are, and we are in a place now that's very difficult to trade. Okay, if you have shorts from above 99.50, you should be quite happy, and you have a good entry. But trade here where we are now is very difficult. I'm not sure what to do. Middle of everything that you can think of, but we are here. That's what we draw. What we draw here is that a break of this trend line here, which was huge. Okay, we could see a huge move down, as we saw already. Is this the low of the market? I'm not sure. I don't think it is. I think it has a little bit more to go. As the same way, I think the euro has a little bit more up to go too. But this is what the scenario is, and I think if we start breaking new lows, guys, you have to watch these lows here and expect the market maybe, going here, making you low, and then quickly stop, and then maybe have a correction. Okay, but zones here to watch. You can, this zone here of resistance. This is big here for the dollar Swiss. So we're talking here about 99.05. If we get there, that's a good place to maybe have a short in play, because that's the place you want to do, really, right? With a tight stop loss and see how it goes. But not the best market, I have to say. Not the best market to trade, especially because of risk reward, right? Because if, let's say, I wanted to sell this at the zone that we just spoke about, which is a good zone, by the way, but you have to put the stop loss at correct places, right? So if I do, enter this zone, put the stop loss just on the previous high here, you can see the risk reward is still 2 to 1. Is it okay? Yeah, not bad, I have to say. But I think that if we get here, then then you're gonna maybe think to increase that. That's bad. You shouldn't do it. But I don't know. You have to watch. The thing is, I don't really like this market. I don't really like the Swiss to trade. But if this is for you, I would probably take a shot in this area, right? A good area to have a go, right? So that's the dollar Swiss. Let's go to the commodities, because here is very interesting. As you can see, as the dollar gets weak, the Aussie and the Kiwi are squeezing the hell out of this market, and the Aussie is getting too close to some levels that I really want to do business with, and the level I want to do business with is at this trend line here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 highs already at this trend line here on the daily on the Aussie, right? So if we do get to this zone here of, let's just say, around the 69.18, 69.15, somewhere here, I think that's the place you should try to get shorts. Okay, I will do if this market gets here. So my trading plan is pretty much sell here, put the stop loss just above the trend line, giving some space, and the target probably targeting here pretty much. So you can see we have a 3 to 1 risk reward kind of trade on this market. That's the one I'm watching, and this is one I think it's very nicely. I love to trade against trend lines. They give me a really nice good entry most of the time, so I really like this. This market is still bearish in my view. I think it's just a range bound. I think the market is crazy just to make a new high here, for new high, and then fall apart again. Okay, that's what I think it can happen in this market. Okay, so I'm just on patient game, waiting to see it can go higher. I don't really want to sell here because of my risk reward, but if we start breaking to that 68.95 is the previous high and getting close to that trend line, that's when I want to really take a shot because the risk there is so small. Okay, QE. QE the same thing, getting close to some key areas, and look where we are, okay, on the QE. So we're just approaching close to those previous high. I think I'm hoping this market just make a new high, touch the 100 moving average, and then reverse, okay? But this one, I don't think it's as clean as the Aussie is, I have to say. And keep in mind, we have another resistance here. This one maybe I will wait for the market to get here, and then if the market closed below the 64.94, that's when I want to take a shot, and then does like that. Okay, so I'll be a little bit more patient to trade the QE, just because I don't have a trend line here giving me the support. I only have a resistances, and if I'm playing the Aussie, and then I want to open the QE, it's pretty much two same trades I'm opening together, so it doesn't really make any sense. So I'll be with the QE a little bit more patient and see what can happen here. But both of them looks good, but I prefer the Aussie, okay, for this week. So this is the QE. So I think we saw every market, right? So the euro, the pound, the Swiss, the dollar Canadian, and dollar yen, all in the QE, perfect, and dollar index we saw. So let's have a quick look on the market. So let's start by looking gold. So gold's very boring. Even if I go to the 4 hour, you can see how boring it is, but it does look like a triangle. Okay, that's something to watch. If we do break above here, then I have another trend line which goes around the 1500 level, so that's one that you should keep an eye on if that happens. But if this breaks below, then I don't think I'm gonna play the short straight away. I will keep an eye and see if we can finally have a 4 hour close below the zone, and then I will enter. Okay, that's my plan on gold. So if we do break above this triangle here, I'll keep an eye on this trend line here, and then maybe we can reverse. Or if we do break above the trend line and have a close above, then I'll be watching this zone again. I'm talking about the 1525 zone. Okay, so that's the gold market here. Very clean, but at the same time not really moving. So not sure if you want to open a trade now, because if you do, maybe you're gonna hold for this trade for a few days, so you can make a really good amount of money. So that's what I think. Let's have a quick look on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin last Friday we moved a little bit, but as you can see here, since yesterday actually, so since Sunday night, the Bitcoin has been bouncing a little bit, but as you can see, we still in this kind of a range, right, channel mode in this market. So let me quickly add here correctly, which does look like this, right? So like this, copy and paste, drag it and put it there. So as you can see, the market's pretty much there, guys. Okay, so we are in the middle right now. Nothing you can do here. If you do, you're doing at the worst point ever. So if you really want to sell, you want to sell somewhere, to here, or if you want to buy, from on the bottom, right? So it's one of these two, but doing in the middle here, it's very, very dangerous. Okay, so that's Bitcoin for you. Very clean. I think you just need to be patient and enter in the right prices. Okay, oil we already saw. I think it's a triangle. It's one to keep in mind today with that dollar Canadian. That's my opinion there. The S&P, like I said, still remains strong. I think if you look the daily here, it's even cleaner how close we are to those record highs. So at any pop today or tomorrow, who knows, this can really take that high away, okay, and then creates a new record highs. One to keep in mind, the DAX, same thing. Keep in mind, don't forget, DAX closed last week above the trend line. Okay, first close we seen since the highs here, which is from January 2018. So that's one to keep in mind. The DAX it's looking quite bullish here, I have to say. Okay, but I'm not gonna also be surprised if we build a kind of a consolidation period here now. It's not gonna surprise me, and then break up. It's not going to surprise me at all if this happens. But key level on the DAX here is going to be this 12,490. I think while we remain above, it's quite bullish, to be honest. Okay, so that's the DAX for you guys. Another thing. Oh, another mark we were looking in last week is this one. This one reversed. With this power of this bounce of the Kiwi of the commodity pairs. Look at the Euro New Zealand. At some point last week we were, having a really nice move above the trend line, but look how we closed in the end of the Friday. Pretty much half of the whole range, pretty much. So it's a market that's not looking that bullish anymore. I have to say it does look more as a false breakout right now than anything else. As you can see here, this zone, this level here is key, right? So another a third rejection here at this price. So that's one that me personally I'm not looking to buy anymore. I made some good money on this triangle breakout, right? So let's wait and see. Okay, it's one maybe that we can maybe sell with a correction if it does happen. Okay, and I think that's all, guys. I think we checked all the majors. I think all the interesting markets that it's in my watch list right now. I shared with you guys all the reasons and what I'm expecting. I'm hoping the market can give me, so I can trade. I think that's all. But feel free to write on the comments if you want us to check any other markets. And I think that's all, guys. So thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed. That's gonna help us a lot. Okay, like the video if you can. Don't forget we are looking for traders. So if you have 6 months or more experience on the forex market, please contact us. We might be able to give you a opportunity to trade with our capital here and make good money for yourself and trade professionally. Okay, thanks so much, guys. I hope you have a great day, great week. Tomorrow we have another webinar here in the morning. I hope to see you everyone here again tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Take care. Bye bye.